Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show, or should we just say the USA versus Canada rematch show. We are going to get all up in this business today. I cannot wait for this game tonight. Where are you guys going to be watching it? I want to know, what are your plans? What are you wearing? What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm? What are you wearing tonight? Do we have USA gear? Do we have Canada? Where's my Jake Gensel USA jersey, Mr. Franzone? Oh, you took it back.
These things are expensive.
I know. I could have bought it, but
my bad.
It cost me a game check.
Right?
It could be a home check. Yeah, but it might be worth it. If he scores a winning goal tonight, I'm going to go get it. Good morning to you, Tim Ham, from our DSP affiliate in Dallas. What's going on there? How are you?
Freezing our arses off here. It's a pleasant, balmy 16 degrees with a wind chill of -4.
Attaboy. So where did you get a ticket to the Cosm place tonight?
You know what? They're not showing
immerse you in the video.
They're not showing it. They're showing some spare NBA game.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
I guess they don't have the rights to the NHL stuff, so they're just showing some spare NBA
Oh, they don't have the rights. Oh, all right. Yeah, it's not by choice.
Right, I'm sure.
Well, I guess it is by choice. They can buy the rights.
You would think, but I mean, I know they've shown NHL games there before. So maybe it's different being the Four Nations thing. I don't know, but they're not showing it. I went to buy a ticket and I could get in to watch the Pacers and the Hornets or whatever the hell it is for $18, but no thanks.
How's the sales going on that?
It's not even a Dallas Mavericks game.
Is that brisk? Is that a brisk sale going on there for Hornets? What?
Hornets
what?
And Pacers.
Are they still Hornets? Like, is there a more irrelevant sports franchise than the Charlotte Hornets?
The New Orleans Pelicans.
Well, no, they had Zion at least. Like,
Man.
I can't name one thing, one player, one coach, one anything of the Charlotte Hornets. Like,
I mean,
seriously.
Jordan used to own them, right? Didn't Jordan used to own a part of them back in the day?
I
don't
think
know that he does
I think that was part of the problem. Yeah. No. But anyway, we got a great hockey game tonight, and we got two of Canada's finest are going to join us. Brian Engblom, my partner on the post-game show, which you've dug up some stuff from him playing for Team Canada. This is the picture on the promo. I don't know if you guys saw that. Do you have that one on there? Look at that. Look at that baby face, huh? 1978. Look at that Canada.
78.
No, that's the Montreal sweater.
That's the Habs, yeah. And there's nothing prettier on this planet than a number 3 Montreal Canadiens jersey. I'm just telling you, man. It was Brian Engblom. It was Craig Ludwig. Two of my favorite Habs ever wore number 3, and I have both jerseys. I should have brought them today, but yeah, I got both number 3 jerseys. And then a number 44 Stefan Robida Habs jersey. How about that?
Stefan Robida? What?
Stefan Robida, 44 for the Habs, and he wore 3 for the Stars.
I do not remember that. Remember that.
He's a good Hab.
I'm not a big Mal fan growing up, but tonight is going to be something special as we have the rematch. So we'll set that up. We're going to do a little college football for you a little bit later in the show. So Brian Engblom and Brian Bradley are going to join us in the first hour. Engblom at 10:15, Brian at 10:30, Brian Bradley at 10:30. We've got some college football. We got some bucs stuff to get to. Lots of Rays Stadium stuff, which I'm going to get to here in just a little bit. More inane comments from the Rays that just never stops. Just incredible. So we got lots to get to today. So thanks for joining us. So let's jump right into it. So tonight we have the rematch. Now, obviously, the first game was the pool play, and if you've been living under a rock 3 fights, first 9 seconds, booing of the national anthem, the United States national anthem, which, by the way, Canada did not get booed, Tim. There were stragglers, a couple strays, but certainly not bustly like by the USA did. So that's a point for the USA, in my opinion.
Right. You just don't do that.
So that's not, and I don't anticipate anything happening tonight. It better not. It better not. Let's show some class, USA. You know, all this political stuff right now between US and Canada, people have to understand it's just negotiation. Nobody's annexing Canada. You know, people are like, oh, they want us to be the 51st. Nobody's annexing Canada. All right? This is all posturing and negotiation stuff to get things back in line the way they should be, where both countries are supporting each other. Politically, we're not going to talk about it. That's just overblown. Let's be done with that stuff. But I don't even know if it's bad blood between the two countries. I think it's just more incredible respect for the two sides. These guys play against each other. They play with each other in the NHL. So there's incredible respect, and it's just a drive to represent your country. And
it's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
It's a friendly rivalry. Look, it's not even as bitter as two division foes, right? Like let's say the Panthers and the Lightning. Like they literally hate each other, right? So there's animosity, there's legit hatred in the playoffs and in the regular season there. I don't even think it goes that far between USA and Canada. This is a mutual respect.
It's a totally different rivalry. You're so right. Yeah. You're so right. It's a totally different level, but it's that where the emotion comes from is represent country and not wanting to lose to USA and vice versa. So that's where the emotion comes from. It doesn't come from hate. I was reading an article, I think it was from the AP, of course, a horrible organization now, didn't used to be. But and they were talking about, they were likening it to, it harkens back to and the political Cold War rivalry between USA and Russia. Yeah. What is wrong with people these days? Like, what have you not opened a history book in your life? You're saying the Cold War, decades of Soviet dominance and bloodthirsty and the U.S. going against that and nuclear war that compared to this, a threat of a tariff? Shut the F up. I mean,
it's asinine.
What an asinine at this, almost as asinine as that Margaret Brennan. Oh, free speech is what caused the genocide in the Nazi.
Right.
I mean, these people, just no absolute understanding, completely historically illiterate. That's not what this is. This is not USA, Soviet Union, 1980. It's not even close. That's dumb, silly, ridiculous.
Well, to even throw that scenario out there in a headline or in an art, that's just clickbait. They want somebody to read it, and that's all it is. It's not realistic. It's not even close. This is not a no. You had Americans hating Russians and Russians hating Americans my entire youth, right? Until I graduated high school in '89 when the wall fell in '91. That was hatred between two countries. You don't have that with America and Canada. I mean, it's no. Have you ever seen the movie Canadian Bacon with John Candy?
No, I have not.
Oh, you got to check it out. It is the epitome of American/Canadian relations and the way Americans. I won't even get into the movie. It's a comedy. It's hysterical. It's about America trying to get their president some more approval rating, so they decide they're going to go to war with Canada. So they staged this attack on the Niagara River in Niagara at a power station in Canada, right? They staged this fake attack so they can justify going to war. Well, the problem is there's Canadians that live out there that think it's real, so they start attacking America on the other side of the river, and then it turns into a whole escalation thing by accident. It's freaking hysterical. Alan Alda plays the American president. It's perfect. Yeah.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Oh, I got to see that.
John Candy's in it. Yeah, it's called Canadian Bacon. It's from the late 80s, I think, maybe early 90s. It's freaking hysterical. But it's the epitome of America-Canada relations. It's awesome.
Yeah. This is a friendly rivalry, but heated and emotional in the fact that these guys want to represent their country and win. So I think it's going to be fantastic tonight. In terms of the X's and O's, there had been talk of Quinn Hughes, trophy winner, coming in from Vancouver, but there was, obviously he's not healthy enough to play, so they decided not to. And I think that's the right decision. You have to be, this is, if it were the Olympics, maybe, this is not to that level, obviously, but I just have to defer to your club that's paying you, millions and millions of dollars. And there have been, obviously Charlie McAvoy is still in the hospital. So, we'll see who steps up for the USA in that situation. But listen, it's going to be absolutely supercharged atmosphere tonight, and it's going to be fantastic. All right, we're going to take a quick break because we got to get Brian Engblom on the phone. So quick 3-minute break here. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. We will, if you have any issues in the legal realm whatsoever, they'll give you a free case evaluation. Just call them, email them, and they'll do a nice little meeting with you and tell you what's on, give you some recommendations, and then you can go from there. That is the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Back with Brian Engblom in 3. Stay with us.
Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the Jay Peterson Show here on this rematch Thursday. Canada and USA going to be going at it tonight, a little bit after 8 o'clock from Boston's TD Garden. Going to be absolutely incredible, emotional. Can't wait to see the hockey. Lots of Lightning players. John Cooper coaching. What a setup tonight for Lightning fans and hockey fans all over the world. All right, let's welcome in my partner on the post-game show, the last call, the great Brian Engblom, 2-time Stanley Cup winner with your Les Habitants, joining us here. What's up, Brian? How are you?
I'm great, JP. How are you?
Oh, I am jacked up for this game tonight. I know you are. I gotta ask you, where were you, and what were your thoughts when Hagel and Kachuk dropped the gloves on last Saturday night before they even dropped the puck? What was going through your mind?
It was great because it was spontaneous right off the bat. They dropped the mitts. They had a few words. There's no doubt. One of the first things that went through my mind was Florida and Tampa Bay because of Kachuk and Hagel. And so there's some history there. And I think Brandon actually referred to that a little bit too, whether it's all personal history or it's just the history between Tampa Bay and Florida Panthers. But that certainly is part of it. The Kachucks, both boys play just like their dad. They are so funny. They are intense as heck, and they play for keeps all the time. And Brandon Hagel, every time we show him on a replay, especially when he scores a goal, he looks like he's going to eat somebody. It's so funny. His emotions just go crazy. He starts yelling and screaming. It is outstanding. So he is wired with all kinds of emotion as well, too. And the Canada-U.S. thing, it's great. I think it's healthy. I think it's wonderful. It's great for the sport. And, man, did it set the tone in the first minute or so of that game. Outstanding.
Well, Brian, before we go any further, I have to introduce you to my co-host here, Tim Ham, who grew up in Montreal, a Les Habitants fan. And, Tim, I'll just let you fanboy from here. Go ahead.
I'm not going to fanboy too much. Brian, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Never chatted with you before. I was born in the States and down around New Orleans, but my father was in the oil business, so he had an office up in Montreal. So I went to primary school up there for a little while. Got an introduction to hockey before the age of 10. Obviously became a huge Habs fan in the late 70s. And that team still legendary in my mind to this day. I own a number of Habs jerseys from that era and from beyond. I have one of yours, of course, the great number 3. I told JP before the show, there's no better looking jersey in any sport anywhere than a Habs number 3 jersey for some reason. It just works. And I love it. Got a Craig Ludwig number 17 from a little bit later. I've got a Stefan Robidas number 44. Of course, I've got the Gainey jersey. And then I moved to Dallas. We moved to Dallas much later. Of course, in the 90s, the Stars moved here, and Gainey's the coach, and I had a connection there. And a number of Habs have come through Dallas. Of course, Ludwig played here in Dallas, and Robidas played here in Dallas.
That's true.
Yeah, just watching Brian Engblom though on the those 90s broadcasts with the Stars in the playoffs and the rivalries with Detroit and with Colorado back then. Totally fanboying out with JP the 3 years I've been doing the show with, and I'm like, I gotta meet Brian sometime. What are you doing to me here? But
I appreciate all that. That's great. Well, you obviously have an affinity for us defensive-minded players with Ludwig and Robidas too. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. Well, damn, I guess I'll have to have you over for dinner here. That's after all this big build up. This is unreal. But awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, the late 70s in Montreal. I mean, Montreal's still so intense. You saw the Canada-U.S. game last week in Montreal. It's just different there. Everything is different. You can talk about Toronto. You can talk about any place in the National Hockey League. Montreal is different. And I lived it. I was there all the time. And it's in the 70s, as great as it was, with 4 cups in a row for Montreal. Yep. When people say it's part of the religion up there, it truly is. Mm-hmm. And if we lost the game, or sometimes even if we won a game by like 1 goal, the next day there'd kind of be murmuring around the city like, "Hey, you only won by 1 goal. What's wrong?" It was really, the team was so good. 10 guys are in the Hall of Fame from that late 70s team. So it was great stuff and certainly a lot of fun.
And it's been way too long since we've had a cup in Montreal. How close are we? And I don't want to bore all the Tampa Bay fans with Montreal Canadiens talk.
Go ahead.
To skating the cup again in Montreal.
Yeah, you better be careful here. They're in the same division
I know.
So real quickly, it's getting there. I think Marty St. Louis, who obviously is a fan favorite here and in the Lightning Hall of Fame, I think he's doing a really good job. He's a real modern thinking coach. And the young players who have skill on his team are really getting a chance to play because he understands that part of the game. And that's the way the game is now. He's letting them go and letting them play at the same time, trying to get them in key situations to go, not now, not now. Now is when you shut it down. When you're up by a goal, you have to learn how to win by a goal as well, too. So those are the things that are happening. I don't know, a time frame to put it on, but they're moving along here pretty quickly. And as long as they can get some consistent goaltending, which you always have to have, we'll see where that goes. Montembeau's pretty good young goaltender.
Very much so.
Right. Brian Engblom joining us here as we preview USA Canada tonight. So Brian, in kind of the macro, that game got 5.5 in at its peak viewers on Saturday night. Yeah, this one will I think likely top that tonight on ESPN. So what do you think this has done for the game of hockey? I mean, there's a little bit of a vacuum right now. The NBA is completely tanking. Obviously, NFL's not as done. You're never going to overtake the NFL, but baseball ratings are in the tank as well. And I've always said I don't understand why hockey's not more popular than those other two sports in the United States. Is this kind of a seminal moment because all eyes are on hockey tonight? There's no competition. This would be an incredible moment, I think, for hockey to grow with a lot of more casual fans. And so what are your thoughts on what you saw on Thursday, the game included, not just the fights, it was a hell of a game, and what it means for hockey?
Well, it means a lot for hockey. And right now, the spacing television-wise that you talked about is obviously incredibly important because it will have a lot of eyeballs. People who are sports fans will tune into different kinds of sports. And I'm referring to a lot of, casual fans here and fans who really don't follow hockey a whole lot. So when you have a seminal moment like this, the Canada-US, I think people can relate to that and they will tune in order to get a taste of what that's like, I think, in pretty much any sport. So that's a great thing. So it's well positioned to do very well. The build-up and everything I was watching ESPN a little bit the other day. I didn't have the sound on. It was just I was out at a restaurant and I saw that it was on. And they were doing some, really good promoing it. And of course, they showed the fights. And, you can take it or leave it fight-wise. And the game is different than it was back in the day. But for people who complain about it, everybody else just gets so jacked up. Did you hear many people complaining about how that game started the other night? It's staged. That was staged. But it also was staged because of the emotion of it and because those players understand what it's all about as far as the emotional level of it. And if you get challenged, do you back away and say, okay, we're just going to play? Or do you drop the mitts like Hagel did? Because, Tkachuk said, hey, come on, let's go. Let's do this thing right now. What are you going to do? You got a couple of seconds to think about it. And if you don't, if Hagel doesn't, then he's going to hear about it, for the rest of his career, maybe. And plus, he wants to stand up and do, what he thinks is right for his team. You get challenged. It's a very emotional sport. I mean, it's a contact sport. So you have to be engaged and ready to go. And if anybody in the National Hockey League gets revved up, it's Brandon Hagel and the Tkachuks. So the skill level of the game is outstanding. I mean, these are the best players in the world. So the pace of the play, the plays that are made, the hits too. It wasn't just the fights. I mean, they ran at each other. I was wondering about how that would go. But because the tone was set with the fights, I don't think anybody was going to back off the pedal at all. So they hit. It's one thing to take a guy out along the wall when you know you're supposed to. It's another thing to really pace them into it, when you get that chance. And we certainly saw a lot of that. And because of that, guys are banged up. I see Charlie McAvoy is not going to be able to play. I know that Austin Matthews has had a bad back basically all season long. Last I heard, he was going to be able to go. Tkachuk didn't finish the game the other night. He went to his coach halfway through and went, I'm done for the night. But apparently, last I heard, unless you guys heard something else, he's going to be able to go as well. And actually, Brady Tkachuk as well, too, who went into the goalpost, says he's going to play, too. So you can see that even though their own general managers of their own NHL teams are cringing, at the same time they understand it and they know the commitment these guys make. And I think it's just great for the sport. There's no doubt. You can go back to the 1996 World Cup. A lot of American players that are in the league now, and some that have already gone through, point back to that when the U.S. won the World Cup in '96, and when that was a big stepping stone for us. The U.S. beat Canada. That was huge for them. So This is going to be a seminal moment for a lot of young guys playing high school and college hockey in the U.S., especially right now.
Brian, you played on Team Canada in '81 as a fairly young player. What does it mean for some of these guys to be able to represent their country? And then we're coming into next year with the Olympics coming back for the NHLers. What does it mean for a young player to be able to play and represent their country in something like this and in something like the Olympics? And how does that differ from, obviously you have pride playing for your team in the NHL, but how is it different when you get to suit up and wear the red maple leaf on the sweater?
It's very different. As soon as you get asked to come to a camp, to be part of a team, your pride level, first thing you do is you call your family and you tell them. And you can ask any player. I remember Anthony Cirelli being interviewed, when he was told, and I think that's almost word for word what he said. I picked up the phone, I called home, told my parents, and so that they can participate and they can feel the pride. And I know my parents felt that way, and I certainly did as well. It just does something to you. You have to be there in order to see it. I mean, I had the pleasure of working the Olympics too, television-wise, in Sochi in 2014. And so I met a lot of parents, and people will walk up to you, different countries, from different sports, and you just see, the pride, and they are just sort of wide-eyed like kids walking around waiting to watch their child in whatever sport that they're in. So it goes throughout the whole family. And I think that's why it travels so well throughout the country. And it's a wonderful thing to have national pride, no matter, what it's about. And this is one of these things you can really celebrate and get behind. And it's no different. Matter of fact, I took my Canada Cup jersey from '81 out of the closet the other day and just kind of dusted it off and looked at it too.
Nice.
And that was cool. And a buddy of mine sent me a couple of clips. I didn't even realize I had scored against the U.S. in '81 when we played them in the semifinal game. I honestly forgotten about it. JP, I scored like 3 or 5 goals a year. You think I'd remember that one? But when I watched it, it was a shot from the point, and it was a screen. And Tony Esposito was in goal for the U.S. And he never saw it. He just never saw it. So it went in, and I went, oh, okay. I remember it now. So I watched some of the highlights from '81, which that was the highlight for us, unfortunately, because when we got to the finals, it all went to hell against the Russians, who were just an outstanding team. And we struggled early. A couple of so-so goals went in early. And after that, you're not going to come back from, a 3 or 4 goal deficit early in the game. And that game went to heck, unfortunately. So, but otherwise, the whole thing about playing for your country is just something you never forget.
Well, you also got a goal in the World Championship. It says right here on your Wikipedia, my friend, in '83. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Well, I remember scoring a goal there, but like I said, you would think that I remember goals because I score so few of them, but they're always just isolated things that I remember. I remember that was in '83 in Germany, and I remember playing against the Russians in the tournament game. Rick Walmsley was our goaltender, and I'd played with him in Montreal. I wasn't with Montreal anymore at that time. But anyway, I knew Rick really well. So in the first period, we barely touched the puck. We were on the big ice surface. We had Lanny McDonald, Darryl Sittler, Paul Reinhart, a lot of really good players on the team. Scott Stevens was my partner. We barely touched the puck in the first period because on the big ice surface, which I hadn't played on as a pro, right? We don't, and it's the width of the rink that makes the difference. There's an extra 10 feet wide on some of the big rinks. and we chased them around. We came in, it was only 1-0 for Russia because Walmsley was an octopus in goal. And so we came in, we knew we just got smoked in that first period. And I remember it was all quiet, everybody sitting down in the first intermission. And all of a sudden, Daryl Sittler said, well, I think we ought to rethink this a little bit, huh? And everybody just burst out laughing and went, yeah. So we changed our tactics and didn't run around after them and try to, play NHL style hockey. We stayed in the middle of the ice and defended a different way. But we were still learning back then about how to play against the Russians and the Swedes and the way they played, the circular pattern games, the way the NHL is now. But way back then, we had, wingers were kind of on the board, centers and defensemen in the middle, and it was more of a linear game back then. But we were being forced to learn the other one real fast, and it was a little painful sometimes. So those are the things that I remember more than anything, more even than scoring a goal here or there.
So I believe in the 83 World Championships against the Russians, didn't you have a self-goal? Didn't you put one in your own net past Rick Walmsley?
Yes, that's right. I forgot I told you about that.
Yeah. Not to bring up bad memories, but
no, that's okay. Now that goal I remember. See, because being a defenseman, right? Yeah. You go, oh damn, are you kidding? So they were running us around. That was against Krutov, Larionov, Makarov line. That was the early days of that line that became famous in the NHL, especially Larionov playing in Detroit for the Wings later on. But yeah, in front of the net, and they were running us around in circles. And I got so disoriented that a pass from beside the net out in front, I had my man, I think it was Makarov, I had him covered. And so I tried to shoot it back in the same direction because I'm trying to keep an eye on him and trying to keep an eye on the puck. And I shot it right inside the post and right from in front of the crease, past Walmsley. And he just looked at me and went, nice shot. And he started to laugh. And he started to laugh because that was all part of that whole mess that we were going through that I just told you about at the end of the first intermission. So I shot it in my own net. Yeah, that was a one and only, and it was an international competition against the Russians.
Out in Germany, I think, was where that game was.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, before you go, handicap this game tonight for me. Obviously, there's a couple. McAvoy is out, so there's a little different flair to it. Should be at full strength. The USA was able to lock it down in those final two periods. Obviously, Gensel with a couple of goals. So how do you see this one tonight?
Well, JP, like I told you before the tournament started, after we did our last Lightning game before the break, there are three things you have to look at. Goaltending, and goaltending. Because I go back to our game against the Russians, in 81. It was a poor start by the team for sure, but a couple of sort of iffy goals went in, and you just have one foot going backwards, and then the gates just opened up. So whichever goaltender is better, it makes the biggest difference in the world, because you can't say, well, it's the best of 7 Stanley Cup finals, and if we lose this one, we'll come back the next day. You don't. Everything is on the line, and there is no position like goaltender. Not quarterback in the National Football League, not pitcher, because you can get away with a bad pass and maybe it should have been intercepted, and a pick six, and a guy drops it. Or, the pitcher serves one right down the middle, and it's a long foul ball. You get away with stuff. In the NHL, when a goaltender has a bad day or handles the puck wrong, it's in the net, and everybody sees it, and the red light goes on, and the pressure insurmountably goes up instantly. So, to me, it's all about goaltending. Both teams have incredible skill. The defense getting up on the play will be a big factor, and certainly penalties and power plays. The guys are getting used to each other a little bit more. Sometimes you have so much skill on the power play that everybody defers too much. They pass too much, and they pass up great chances to score. So I think they'll be over that a little more. I think you'll see more shots to the net, and these guys are such great shooters. All the more reason the goaltenders have to be near flawless if they're going to win.
All right, Brian, great stuff, my friend. Thank you for a little trip down memory lane there, and also setting up this one tonight. Where are you watching the game tonight? You watching at home?
Oh, at home. Yeah, I'm watching at home. That's for sure. Yeah, that's.
You're texting with all your buddies, I'm sure.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And thanks for making me relive that own goal there. That's right. Great guys.
Your invitation to dinner has been revoked.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been revoked. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to go in my room now and feel shame. Thank you.
Way to go, Tim. Thank you, Brian, for his last appearance on our show. Thank you, Tim, for that. Appreciate that. All right, Brian. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you Sunday.
Okay. Thanks, fellas. Bye.
Yeah, great. Tim, you should know better than that. My goodness.
Hey, it was a notable moment in his career, okay? I was just trying to relive notable moments in his career.
He's trying to forget, for God's sakes. Oh, my God.
We forgot all the other goals.
Without further ado, let's bring in the other Brian, another man that has played for Team Canada in the biggest of moments, the great Brian Bradley. What's up, partner? How are you?
Good, JP. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Where are you?
I'm at Amley.
Is that it's Amley in the background? Oh, I couldn't really tell.
Amley Arena. It's all quiet here. I think there's a concert tonight or something, and the boys are practicing at 11 o'clock in Brandon.
Brandon. Okay. Forum. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right, so where will you be tonight at 8 o'clock?
I'm going to be at some friend's house. Vic and Michelle are having a watch party for the game. There's going to be I think 5 or 6 couples. But I will tell you this, I will be cheering for Canada because I am from Canada.
There you go.
So
I get it. I get it. Listen, I'm turned on the game the other night, and I wasn't sure who I was going to root for, to be quite honest for you, with Coop and Hagel and Sorelli and Pointer. And then the fight started, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Hagel. That's Hagel and Kachuk. Oh, my God. And then I'm like, well, I don't want Hagel to get beat up here. I mean, as much as I want USA to win, I don't want Hagel to get hurt. So it was back and forth, but my USA allegiance kind of took over after Gensel scored, especially. So, yeah, I'll be rooting for the USA tonight. But I have to say this. If Canada wins, I'm going to be happy, obviously, for Coop and all the boys. And if USA wins, I'll be happy for Gensel and of course, my country. Yeah. But I can't wait to see the game tonight. First of all, give me your take on Thursday night, Saturday night when they dropped the gloves. What were your thoughts?
Well, you know what, before we talk about that, I will say that I think it got hyped up so much in Canada and the weather, and everybody in Canada was probably watching the game. I mean, they don't really follow basketball as much. Football's over. Baseball hasn't started, obviously. So that game was hyped up for Canada for like a week straight in Montreal, the big rivalry match. So I think it got kind of over to the next level when, in Canada, which I don't agree with, they were booing the U.S. anthem. I mean, I think you got to respect the anthems at some point. Yes. I don't think they should be allowed to do that. To me, that was being a Canadian. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
Once the puck drops, it's game on. You know what? And I think there was just so much pride, so much going on. I think, you know what, the U.S. teams submitted their roster to start. Obviously, they put the Tkachuk brothers, Brady and Matthew in. I think with JT Miller, I can't remember who the other one was up front, but the rivalry with Florida is there. I mean, I know Brendan Hagel, they do not like Matthew Tkachuk. So when Canada submitted their roster of Sorelli and Braden Point, I think, was out there, and Hagel, there was a chance that something was going to happen. And man, they didn't even drop the puck. I mean, the guys were off, and it was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then it was a good fight. I mean, I thought Hagel was probably the winner in that one. And then when Sam Bennett came out, I was like, Sam Bennett is only going to do one thing right now, and he's fighting the other Tkachuk. And they didn't even barely drop the puck, and then another one went. So that was a great fight. I mean, that was a really good fight. Could have went either way, you know what, like I said. But both guys were throwing some haymakers. And then, the last one with JT Miller was, I think JT started the whole fight with going in front of the net, pushing guys, dropped his glove, Pranko. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 6'6". I mean, he's lucky that JT Miller didn't get lit up because he was definitely the better of the fighters in that fight. So I thought it was great. I thought it was, there's so much adrenaline, so much atmosphere in that stadium. And you know what? I think it just carried over to the game. And I think that's going to be a factor tonight. I mean, it's going to be a great game. I mean, guys, the game, the Four Nations Cup, it's been amazing. When you look at Sweden, they never lost a game in regulation, but didn't make it through. Finland looked really good at times. I mean, Canada and the U.S. are the two best countries, but I think the speed of the game, the pace of the game, the guys are into it. It's not like an all-star game. This is really, really exciting hockey.
Yeah, it is. And the game, I think, kind of was secondary on Saturday, but the game itself was a tremendous game. Talk about why you think the USA won that game. I mean, everybody wants to talk about goaltending, and that's obviously a huge part of it. But I thought the USA played really well in the second and third periods, just kind of shutting down what Canada wanted to do.
Yeah, you know what? I thought the U.S. played terrific. You know what? I thought Canada came out there. Connor McDavid scored that goal. Beautiful goal. He got that pass, ripped, went down the ice, did a backhand upstairs, beat Hellebuck. I think there was just so much adrenaline, emotion with Team Canada in that first period. They kind of lost the wind out of their sails, which could happen for the U.S. tonight in Boston. I mean, being the home team. So I thought after Canada was up 1-0, then what happens is, the U.S. scored a goal. You got it back to 1-1. I think Jake Gensel made it 2-1 with another, great player. I mean, we're just lucky to have a guy like that on our team. And then they scored to make 3-1, and it could have been 4-1 with another empty net and stuff like that. But I thought the U.S. was a better team overall. I thought the U.S. I think if I have to say, the U.S. has Canada has better forwards, but not by much. But the U.S. is definitely better defensively, and their goaltender's better. That's the difference right now. But I will say this. Am I counting Canada out? No, I still think Canada might win tonight. And this is my reason why. Is Canada is going to learn so much from that 3-1 loss. And John Cooper is the best coach in the NHL. They are going to change and tweak some things that the U.S. is not going to. They're not going to know until the game's on. I think the U.S. didn't learn a lot from that game because they won the game, but Canada learned so much from that loss. And they're going to watch that video so many times of what they were doing to clog up in front of the net. They're going to have a game plan for what they need to do. And I think that's going to make the difference. I think John Cooper is such a great coach for this. He's going to make the difference in the game, what he devises for the guys to do. And I saw it in the last game against Finland, when they put Braden Point with Connor McDavid and they moved guys around. Reinhart went up with McKinnon and Crosby, because some of those guys are great players, but they can't skate. Braden Point can skate with McDavid. Not many guys can skate with McDavid. And the goal he scored, Braden Point was way behind the play, but his skating was so fast, got him in. When McCarr shot the puck, he got the rebound, put it in. See, Mitch Marner, I know he's a great player, plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but his skating is far below some of the skating of these guys right now. They're playing at such a high pace and so fast. If you make one mistake, and you've got to be careful with what you're doing. You got to read the situation. You make one mistake in this fast-paced game, and it's goal. These guys can all play.
Brian Bradley joining us here from Amalie Arena. So tonight, you think there'll be some adjustments made for what you've played for Team Canada, Brian? You know what the pressure is like. What's the pressure like on Coop tonight to get this win?
I think it's pressure on everybody. I mean, we'll talk about Canada first and we'll go to the U.S. I mean, I think all the guys on Team Canada and I'm going to tell you this, 40 million people in Canada or whatever the number is, 50 million. I don't know the number, but I guarantee you every person is watching this game at every bar. There is no basketball game on tonight. There's nothing going on except this hockey game from coast to coast. And you know what? The guys will be remembered whether they win or lose. So there is pressure, guys. I'm telling you right now, the Canadian guys know that if they can come and get this win here in Boston, they'll go down. They'll be huge for for the Canadians. And it's the same as the Americans. Well, you know what? They want to go here. They've won in Montreal, but they've got to come out here, and you got to beat a Canadian team twice. It's not just, hey, we get another game on Tuesday in a rematch. This is it. It's one and done. And that's why I said it's more in the Canadian advantage because they're on the road. They don't have to put a show. Canada lost 3-1 Saturday night, and you got to beat them again. And this is it. So I think the U.S. has a lot of pressure, maybe even more than Canada, because so many people are watching this game from coast to coast in the United States because what happened. I mean, you hear it on TikTok, you hear it on all the different things all over. Everybody's talking about the hockey game on Saturday night, and everybody is so excited to see tonight's fireworks game going on in Boston.
Yeah, I think. So, are you picking Canada tonight?
Yeah, I'm picking Canada 4-3 in a
4-3.
Great game.
All right.
In a great game.
Again,
I think Connor McDavid's going to maybe have a hat trick. I think John Cooper, like I said, I think Canada learned more from the loss than the U.S. did in the win. And you know what? They're going to change up what they're doing. They're going to tweak their game plan and figure out how they can. And the factor is we didn't have Cale Makar. Like, you guys don't have Quentin Hughes. Quentin Hughes is a hell of a defenseman for the U.S. To me, he's the best defenseman on the team. Cale Makar did not play Saturday night. He played the first game against Sweden. I thought he looked terrible. He did not play Saturday night against Sweden, but he played Monday against Finland. I thought he played pretty good, had an assist, started jumping, but now he's got 2 or 3 days off. I think Cale Makar is going to be even better tonight, and that's a major factor for the U.S. team. That's not good.
Yeah. What's it, Brian? What was it like to wear the Canadian sweater? For you, what was it like to represent your country?
Well, you know what? It's an honor. It's like such an honor that I played in the Olympics for Canada, and I won a World Juniors. I played for the World Junior team for Canada, won a gold medal there. But anytime you put the jersey on, whether it's the U.S. jersey or you put in the Canadian jersey, it's an honor. I mean, so many kids dream about this. I mean, I remember back in the day watching Team Canada when Phil and Tony and Bobby Orr and all those guys played against the Russians in 72. And then the Canada Cups in 86 with Gretzky and Messier and Lemieux and all those guys. Those were epic games. I mean, to me, the greatest hockey game ever. I mean, the U.S. will say the 1980 miracle, but the Canada Cup game in 86 or 7 when Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux scored in overtime to beat the Russian team, which was an amazing team back in the day. They were communists back in the day. So with the red sickle jerseys, I think that was the greatest hockey game that I ever watched on TV when Mario scored in overtime. It was phenomenal.
Brian, do you think that this model that they have for the Four Nations, clearly it's the best thing to happen to the NHL, way above and beyond an all-star game or a skills competition? It's just more intriguing, more interesting, and there's national pride. Do you think this is something that's sustainable? Of course, we'll have the Olympics next year. So come 2027, when it's time to make the decision, are we doing this again? Do you think people will be sort of like, we've seen this 2 years in a row now with the international competition. Let's take a break. Or do you think this is something that people will just go back to every single year because of what it is?
I don't think they can go back every year. It's just too hard to do. Yeah. I think I know for a fact, and I'm not sure if you guys know, but obviously the Four Nations Cup is this year, the finals tonight. Obviously we're going to be all watching. It's super exciting. Next year's the Olympics in Italy. So all the teams will be in Italy. Hopefully, I'm hoping that they can clear this Russian-Ukraine war, because I think the Russian guys would love to go, like Vazzy and Kuch. It's once in a lifetime.
Yeah. You got to have them in the Olympics.
So
you got to have them in the
Olympics. It'd be sad if Russia doesn't get to go. You got some great players. Ovechkin maybe could be there one last time. I mean, some of these guys have never played in the Olympics, which is crazy. But
Trump will fix that. Don't worry. Trump will fix that.
And then after that, we have a year off, and then we do the World Cup of hockey.
Right.
World Cup.
So it's going to be the same thing as the Four Nations Cup. But they're probably going to add Russia, Czech, maybe Switzerland. So instead of 4, the World Cup will have 6 or 7 teams, and it'll be different. They'll add some other teams, like, I don't know. I know they'll probably add Russia because that's a big draw. I mean, obviously they're going to add Czech because that's a big draw. And then, you know what, they might have 6 teams instead of 4. They might have Switzerland. So it'll be the same format, but just years from now. It'll be fun to watch. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
All right, Brian. Well, I'm rooting for both. I'm rooting for a good game tonight, and everybody stays healthy. That's what I'm rooting for tonight.
That's the key. I agree with you, JP. You know what? You know, whether Canada wins or the U.S. wins, as long as the Lightning guys come in, I think Jake Gensel's been amazing. You know, he's just scoring like he did here. I mean, you know, Point looks good. I think Hagel, Cirelli look good. But you know what? When they come back here and play Sunday against Seattle, Hedman will be back. You're going to see those guys play at a different level. I mean,
agree.
They're going to be on the ice Sunday, and then we play Edmonton on Tuesday. They're going to be on the ice going like, oh, my God, is this preseason? Because we're skating at such a high pace that something's not right with these other guys. You watch. You'll see these guys on the ice, and what they learned and what they did here, especially – maybe Point, because he's been there before. Gensel will be at a different level, and Hagel and Cirelli will definitely be at a different level. It'll be good for our team. And Hedman, of course, the captain, you know, a superstar player. He's you know, like I said, he's been awesome his whole career. So I'm excited to see tonight's game, and then let's get back into the action. And I think all the teams, all the guys and all the teams are super excited for what's happening. I guarantee you're going to see a different level and pace when the NHL gets back in play, because this has put hockey on the map, and everybody's super excited to see the regular season begin again.
That's right. So who will be bringing home the gold medal to the Lightning dressing room? Will it be Jake Tull, or will it be Cirelli and Hagel and Point and Cooper? We shall see.
We shall see.
All right, we're betting a 6-pack of Molson. You get a 6-pack of Molson if Canada wins. I get a 6-pack of
Can I get
Cigar City.
I want Labatt's.
That sounds good. I will do the 6-pack of Molson's. You know, if Canada wins, you owe me the 6-pack. You know, either way. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, bet. All right, partner. Enjoy the game tonight, man. Thank you.
Go Canada. Woo!
Yeah,
go Canada.
USA. All right, me and you, we going.
I just want my Labatt's blue. That's what I
all right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, kind of rehash what we just heard. Then we're going to get into some Rays stuff as well, more ignorant comments from the Rays. We'll get into that, and we'll talk some on-the-field stuff as well. Stay with us.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, February's birthstone is amethyst, a stunning purple gem that symbolizes peace, protection, tranquility, and sincerity. Celebrate her birthday or your 6th and 17th wedding anniversaries with an unforgettable amethyst gift. And of course, for over 40 years, the Golden Diamond Source has been Tampa Bay's most trusted name in fine jewelry. We only sell natural diamonds. If it's real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't get a fake. The Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program will help you learn about the 4 C's, what style, shape, and color works best for you and your unique style. Folks, it's the best customer service. They make it so easy for you, and they're not going to push you into something that you cannot afford. 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Also, you can turn your old unused gold into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. So get that old jewelry and bring it on in. You know where, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. Check us out Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, and then later the same day, wherever you get your podcasts. It's also on our YouTube channels, the JP Peterson FanStream Sports Tampa YouTube channel. You've got the FanStream Sports Dallas YouTube channel where you can find my gorgeous face, as well as a plethora of other shows that we have for you at FanStream Sports. It is Four Nations, it is championship, it is Canada, it is the USA, and I will tell you, I've been asked by a number of people who I will be cheering for tonight. Of course, my allegiance is to both, especially my hockey allegiance goes to both. But I don't know.
Who you got?
I don't know who I'm cheering for, and normally it turns out to be Canada. I'll be cheering for Canada, but I don't ever know until the first goal is scored, whoever scores it, and my natural inclination, my natural feeling is to either cheer or go, Right. I won't know until if it's USA that scores the first goal, and I'm kind of like, yeah, well, then I'll know I'm cheering for USA. If Canada scores the first one and I'm like, oh, crap. Then I'll know, because I never know until the first goal is scored. It's very organic. It's very natural for me. I don't know.
I was going to say, can you recall any other game where you were so conflicted? I can't recall any other game where I'm so conflicted because, I just have such a rooting interest on both sides. Like it's, like if Pointer scores a goal, I'm gonna cheer.
Right.
Like I'm like, yes. Now, if Hagel scores the game-winning goal in overtime, I might be like, oof. But no, I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm going to end up being USA. I think that's going to pretty much. I think I'll end up being USA, but I don't know. I'll see how it goes. I just know that it's going to either way it goes. I'm going to be happy how it finishes. That's a good thing.
We just don't, just like we talked about with Brian Bradley, we just don't want somebody to get hurt, like on either side. You don't want to see a serious injury in something like this, especially these guys are playing. These guys are not holding back. These guys are hitting, they're fighting. You would hate to see somebody break their hand or something in a fight, in what basically boils down to, in the grand scheme of things, an exhibition, and it puts the rest of their NHL season in jeopardy. You don't want that, but you want to see guys playing their hardest, and they certainly will. They're playing for their country. It's the finals, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And JP, you talked about the ratings, 5+ million people tuning in for this thing. That is 50 times more people than tune in for a normal primetime NHL game.
50 times.
50 times more than a normal NHL game. So it is certainly growing the game. It is growing the awareness of the game nationally, and I think some of this interest in the Four Nations Cup this past week and a half is going to wear off, and I think you'll see a little uptick in viewership for the rest of the NHL season. I really do. I think it's going to wear off on people.
I agree. I think I've always said this. I think hockey has been underserved in terms of its popularity, especially here in the United States. Obviously, it's the number one game in Canada, but here in the United States, it's always kind of slotted in fourth, and then there was kind of talk of MLS surpassing hockey. And I'd have to go look at the numbers, the ratings numbers. I know I got to believe that it way outdid the All-Star game. The All-Star game was the second lowest watched in the history of the league. And this NHL game it's not the quote All-Star game, but it's replacing the All-Star game this morning. So I'd have to say it's anybody. I don't think any sports fan, especially a casual sports fan in his right mind, could tune into that game and then flip over to watch, LiAngelo Ball rapping or whatever the hell was going on the All-Star game.
Oh my gosh.
And go, I got to watch this. If you're a sports fan, I mean, how do you not just love hockey? How do you not love every part of it? I don't know. I think it's a really big moment for hockey tonight. So
yeah,
I'll be really interesting to see what the ratings are. Now the game's on ESPN. So who's calling the game tonight? Steve Levy, I would hope.
It's got to be, yeah, right.
Levy, and I don't know who they'll have on the broadcast tonight, but it's going to be epic. It's going to be absolutely epic. So I'm flying up to Atlanta tonight for a little birthday getaway for the lovely Ashley, aren't they? So we're going to be highly invested in a sports bar there in Buckhead. So I'll have to call my buddies up there and see where we're watching the game.
JP, I am seeing on X NHL announcer schedules. There is an X account for NHL announcer schedules that I follow. We're looking at Sean McDonough, Ray Ferraro, and Emily Kaplan tonight.
Sean McDonough, Ray Ferraro, and Emily Kaplan. Okay.
The studio host will be Steve Levy and Mark Messier and PK Subban. So he'll be in the studio.
Okay, PK. All right. I gotta be everybody on deck for the pregame show tonight. Yeah. I wonder, have we seen anything about if what some of the motivational things are going to be? I don't know. I'm wondering if Trump is probably going to dressing room. I know he's going to inject himself somewhere in here. There's no question about that.
Well, I mean, he would definitely not, right?
Yeah, he'll definitely not miss that opportunity. No question about that. And I wonder just all the different celebrities, what's going to be going on Twitter. They should have maybe an all broadcast, maybe to what's going on social media. It's huge. It's huge. And it comes at such a dead time for sports, really. It's going to be super cool. I absolutely cannot wait.
By the way, to give ESPN some props here, because all we do is bitch about how they don't cover the NHL as the TV partner very well. The 6 o'clock Eastern edition of Sports Center, which is hosted by Kevin Negandhi, will also be live from the TD Garden tonight.
Oh, nice.
So they're leading in with an hour-long Sports Center before the pregame for the Four Nations, and they're all on site. Like Steve Levy and all them, they'll be on site for the so-called studio show. Of course, everybody's on site at TD Garden tonight. So kudos to ESPN, at least this time, for bringing a little bit of awareness to the situation.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some other stuff as well. The Rays, I guess Mattman went on with T-Kraz yesterday on local radio on DAE, and I'm not sure why they're necessarily continuing to go out and talk about this stuff. And it's so interesting because they went on and did, I guess, basically, the thing they did last week on the preseason show, the Rays produced broadcast that they put on 620. And of course, their tone was really defiant, blaming the city, blaming the county, blaming everybody else, as they always do. And that went over like a fart in church. And, and because I just don't understand, this is the most tone deaf franchise in the history of franchises. You really thought that people were going to buy that bullcrap? That you really think after all the stuff and all the media that's been out there, and that, thank God for Twitter, thank God for Chris Latvala, the continual trolling of the Rays is just absolutely epic. For a public, and this is he is a diehard Rays fan and a passionate baseball fan, and I think all the people have come to know that from him coming on this show and other shows. And he's really turned the tables on the Rays. Mm-hmm. He really has. And I'm full credit. He put his political ass out in the wind followed his passion, followed the right thing to do, and really has come out, I think, well on top of Stu and certainly the Rays. They thought they could vilify him and make him the victim, and certainly some of the folks in the media tried to do the thing, but he has flipped the tables on them, and rightfully so. So, Silverman basically came out at FanFest and said, oh, well, we got 4 years to do this now. And then yesterday with T-Krads, the quote, I'm trying to get the quote here. It was more, we've got 4 years. We're not in a hurry to get this done. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what in God's name are you talking about? And the way if not this deal, what deal? I mean, they gave you $650 million in public, half of what the stadium would cost, which is actually would cost the public $1.6 billion with interest in infrastructure, $144 million in infrastructure. They're giving you redevelopment rights that could probably net you anywhere from $700 million to $1 billion, if not more. And that's not enough. And you still want more money, and people want to go, well, maybe it's because it's, they need more money. Costs have gone up. You agreed to pay the cost overruns. They gave you all this money so you could afford the cost overruns. And it's unconscionable. Like, no one has ever gotten a deal like this. This is the most sweetheart deal in the history of deals. Like, literally. No, and it's the smallest municipality in terms of St. Petersburg, the city of St. Pete, 250,000 people, really, I think, within the city limits that are funding this thing. And, of course, the county's throwing in as well. But it's a very small number of people, and it's still not enough. And people act like what it tells you is what I've known all along. He never planned on building the stadium. This was always a land grab. He was never going to build the stadium. And to me, that was up from the beginning when he said they were going to pay $700 million in cost overruns. Really? Here's a guy that wouldn't pay $150 million to get the stadium done in Tampa. And by the way, that deal was a fair deal for the taxpayers and a great deal for the Rays. It would have cost them $450 million, and they would have had naming rights and other retribution that would have covered their share. And it still wasn't enough then. And they lied about it and said that Hillsborough County didn't have the money. That wasn't true. There wasn't enough corporate support. That's a lie, too, because I was part of the Raise 100. They pledged $160 million up front in corporate pledges. And, of course, you see what happens when they put the tickets on sale. Every premium ticket is sold out. I mean, at every turn, they have lied. They have burned bridges in Tampa. They have burned all the bridges in Pinellas. They've burned all their allies in the city of St. Pete. They have no friends left. Time is up. You don't have 4 or 5 years. Nobody wants to work with you anymore. And for good reason. It's the same thing that Namoli did. And Major League Baseball and Bud Selig forced him out. There are people in Tampa, good people that love this community, that want to buy this team at a reasonable price. Major League Baseball, get off your ass and make this happen. You have the power to do it. You did it with Namoli. Let's get this done. Are you seriously going to sit around and let this same group? Who are they going to deal with? Who are they going to deal with? The people that they've lied to and pissed off Tampa and all the business leaders there that you made jump through all these hoops with the Raise 100 and then walked away at the last minute again? You're going to go back to St. Pete? And those people, you're going to get more money from St. Pete? No, you're not. You think they want to do a deal with you, a new deal with you, and give you a better deal? There is no better deal.
No.
There's never been a better deal in the history of deals, and it's not good enough. You can't get this done. You're the problem, Rays. You're the problem. You don't have any more time. Your time is up. Your time is up. Sell the team. And for Major League Baseball, you're embarrassing yourselves. You say you want to be here in this market? Great. We want you to be here in this market. You now have an opportunity with a group or groups that want to buy this team, that will run it like a real baseball team and build a stadium where the stadium should be built. And this is not St. Pete, Tampa. Hell, even Mayor Welch is like, we're good. We're good. If the Rays don't build, we're good. And we'll build a beautiful convention center or affordable housing or all more residential, commercial. They'll build something wonderful. Will benefit St. Pete, not cost them billions of dollars. It will make them billions of dollars, not cost them billions of dollars. So they're okay with it. They understand it. Let's move this along. Nobody wants to wait another 2, 3, 4 years to get this done. Nobody. And for you to sit there and say, we've got 4 years is the most arrogant thing in the world. No, you don't. You've had your chance. You've burned every bridge. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to move on. Major League Baseball knows it. The people know it. The fans know it. The politicians know it. The business leaders know it. You have worn out your welcome. We don't want you here. Please leave. Please leave. Take your $2 billion profit and go.
Well said. Can't wait for all this to be over.
God.
You know why I can't wait for all this to be over?
But can you imagine I'm sorry, but if they came on the show and said, well, we've got 4 or 5 years, that what I just said is exactly what I would say to Matt Silverman. And I know Matt. I like Matt. I think he's an awesome dude. He probably don't like me anymore, but I still like you, Matt. And I still like you, Brian. But it's not personal. It's about the fans. It's just, It is what it is.
And that's what it's supposed to be about. That's the whole reason the team's here.
Right.
I know it's a business, but the point of every business is to serve the customer.
Yeah.
Even baseball teams, even sports franchises, you serve the fan base.
Yeah.
Pay
That's
attention
where
to
your
the
money
fan base
comes
and what they want. Come on.
Yeah. All right. You want to let's hit some of the on the field stuff for the Rays as well. So far in camp, pitchers have looked great. Ryan Pepio, this starting staff is going to be something really, really special. I'm so excited. Everybody's come back healthy. Of course, it's early, but McClanahan's throwing 98 miles an hour. Pepio looks good. Rasmussen looks fantastic. Off of his third Tommy John surgery, Pete Fairbanks, the bullpen. And that's why it's like, man, if we could just gone out and got a couple of hitters, this team would be, I think, have a legitimate chance to win the World Series. Yes, the offense will be better, should be better. It can't be worse, for God's sakes. It cannot be worse. They were only better than the White Sox last year, who were historically one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history. Batting 212 with runners in scoring position. It's got to be better. Now, will that translate into innings to get into the playoffs? It should. Does it make them a World Series contender? No. You can't have an offense even if everybody improves, even if everybody, if your plan of hope, if Josh Lowe returns to form, if Ha-Seong Kim, has just an average year, light years ahead of what we got out of the shortstop position last year, Junior Caminero can be a 30 home run slugger. If Morel can somehow find, the power stroke that he had early on with the Cubs. I mean, if hope, that just gets you to maybe an average offense. Imagine if you went out and, actually got a Bregman or a real slugger. I mean, it would be incredible. It'd be incredible. But obviously that hasn't happened. It's obviously not going to happen because they can't trade. You would think with this surplus of pitchers, you could trade a pitcher and go out and get a big bopper, but those guys make money and you're not going to increase the payroll. It's a layup, really, especially if they get into the season and all 6 of their starters stay healthy and you get to the deadline. I mean, and there's going to be teams chomping at the bit to get a starter, and you're in perfect position. But you got to be absorbed, $10-15 million contract for the second half of the season. And the Rays have never really done that. So we'll see, but I'm encouraged as to what this team can be. Average offense, extraordinary pitching, a lot of home games in March, April, and May. Get off to a great start, and then hang on through the dog days, make a move or two. If there's new ownership, that would be great. Then let's go. Let's go. Could be an amazing season. Could be an amazing season. And even if they get to the playoffs and they Major League Baseball says, well, we can't play playoff games in Steinbrenner Field. That would be a shame. That would be a shame. If they build this vibe. What's that?
I don't think they would take that away from them there.
I would hope not. I would hope not. Because, even though it's only for 12,000 fans, it's going to be a very devoted 12,000 fans who paid a lot of money because the tickets are double and triple the price.
Yeah.
That's, that would be a tough sell. That would be a kicking, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
to take that away from people who have been filling the park all year long. And imagine the vibe. Imagine the vibe of a playoff game in such an intimate atmosphere. That would be special. It would be really, really special. It would be something special. And the TV viewing will be off the charts. So moving it, what are you going to do? Move it to Miami?
Maybe they sell out Ray J and they just show it on the video screen.
I think it'd be a great idea. No, seriously.
I know.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Put it on the video. You'd probably fill it up. You'd probably fill it up. Just charge $10 a ticket. $10 a ticket. Who wouldn't go? Who wouldn't go?
You'd be able to hear each other. Like their
absolutely
stadiums are so close, you could hear the crowds. Yeah.
Well, how about? I think we actually had talked about this right before, because you could actually have the team go do some batting practice at Ray J.
Yep.
Or go do set up. The Savannah Bananas are going to play there, right? So go, just sell out Raymond James Stadium and have the team come over there and do batting practice, and have them, if they win the game, have them come over. How cool would that be? How cool would that be? It's like, stay in your seats here. The team's coming over to take a victory lap in Raymond James Stadium. How freaking cool would that be? Come on. No, you don't move the games. Awesome. You don't move the games. You do something special. You do something different. Because I guarantee you, if you charge like $10 a ticket, and it was imagine if they got to the World Series, that would be freaking awesome. That would be absolutely awesome, because you would be able to hear the cheer, and the team would be able to hear the cheers from Ray J. It's Steinbrenner Field. So I think it would be awesome. You think differently. Think out of the box. Think of the things you could do, not the things you can't do. Think of the things you could do, and it would be spectacular. Be unlike any venue ever. Super fun. And I guarantee you, they'd sell out Ray J and they'd sell out Steinbrenner. That would be what? 70-some thousand people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's bigger than any baseball stadium right now in the major
That's right.
leagues.
That's right.
Yeah, normally hold 40,000.
You have the drone shot.
That'd be awesome. Can you imagine the TV presentation for that? With the blimp view or something for an ALCS game or an ALDS game or even a wild card game in the middle of the day, where you've got the blimp overview and you've got Steinbrenner Field over here, and then the camera just pans over to Ray J, and it's a sold out Ray J. That for TV, that would be incredible.
Here's another one for you, because we do this at Amalie Arena. We put holograms on the ice, right? So you can project. You could project the actual game onto the Ray J Field.
I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, with holograms.
I know. I don't understand the technology. I think it's awesome. I just don't understand
What if you could make it like that? Like you could not only have the game on the video screens at each end, but you put holograms on the field. Like you're actually watching the game.
Like real time.
I got to call my boss at Amalie and see if that's something that they could do. See, think out of the box. Just don't think immediately, that's too small of a stadium for playoffs. No, think outside the box. Think of what you could do.
Yeah, that's old man way of thinking right there.
Exactly. What and what would that count as the largest playoff crowd ever? If you had 65,000 in Ray J and another 12,000 at Steinbrenner? I don't know. Back in they used to play at the college. They used to play baseball at the Coliseum in LA, if I'm not mistaken. Then when the Dodgers first moved there, which seats like 100,000.
So the all-time attendance record of 115,300 was set at a preseason game between the Red Sox and the Dodgers at the Memorial Coliseum.
In Coliseum. See, I got it.
This is the only baseball game where the 100,000 figure has been definitively exceeded.
Yeah. All right. So we're not getting there.
No, we're not getting there.
But we're getting close. We're getting close. So yeah, I think that would be outstanding. It would be freaking amazing. So yeah, this could be a really special season, which is why, I would just imagine if they went out and got a couple of. Let's imagine if they signed Pete Alonso, Tampa kid.
Yeah,
Tampa kid, and they signed. What did he sign for? $54 million.
Not much. Yeah.
I mean, fun. That would take our payroll. That would take the Rays payroll to a little over $100 million. Is that going to kill you?
Peanuts.
Going to kill you. Oh, and they're going to be making more money in Steinbrenner, by the way, with the ticket sales. Single game tickets go on sale next, by the way. But there's a pre-sale on Wednesday to the public on Thursday. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you there won't be any tickets left on Thursday. So you better get I got the insider email. So it's you just sign up, you can get on there. So all the tickets are going to be gone. So it's sold out for the whole season.
Of course. So JP, I have the largest. I have the attendance records for World Series games also here. Well, and they are all in the 1959 World Series, game 3, 4, and 5 at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum between the White Sox and the Dodgers. 92,706, 92,650, 92,394. So if you take away the Coliseum, the largest attendance, game 5 of the 1948 World Series between the Boston Braves and the Cleveland Indians at Old Cleveland Stadium, 86,000.
86,000 at Old Cleveland Stadium.
At Old Cleveland Stadium. Yeah.
Wow. Was that the one that the Browns used to play in that was always muddy?
Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Yeah. Had
the big overhang.
Yep.
Right? Where the original dog pound was. If I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Lakefront Stadium. Yeah. It was all the same. Built in the early, 19 teens, I think, is when it opened. And that's where the Ravens played until they built the Browns when they moved back before they built the whatever it is now. It's Northwest. No, that's in DC. Whatever it's called now. Huntington Bank Field is what it is in Cleveland. Yeah, Huntington Bank Field.
The mistake by the lake.
Yeah, it was First Energy Stadium. I think now it's Huntington Bank Field. But so the next 3 were there in Cleveland Stadium, and then Yankee Stadium had 74,000 in the 47 World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. So there you go.
Well, we could probably get 60, so 72 maybe.
How about 67,000 to see the Indians and the Marlins in Game 6 of the 97 World Series at Pro Player Stadium?
Oh yeah. Another football stadium turned baseball stadium. Yeah.
I still call it Joe Robbie Stadium, but that's what it is to me.
Please, let's just leave it at that.
I still call the Buffalo Stadium Rich Stadium. Yeah. I'm old school there.
Let's go back to the old ones. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get into some of the comments we have here. We got some college football news as well. We'll hit some Bucs news. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Great time to do your insurance checkup with their great customer service. Call Charity over there at 813-877-7799. JP sent you to shop your homeowners, your business, your flood insurance. Got to get them all. Make sure you are insured. A lot of people going through some bad times right now because they were not insured. So make sure you are. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Back in 3.
Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Canada-USA rematch Thursday. Where are you guys watching the game tonight? What are you wearing? No, put it in the comments. We'll get to the comments here in just a little bit. We are brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Amethyst is the first stone of February. So go check out all the cool amethyst pieces that they have at the Gold and Diamond Source. They have a new men's area with baller watches and all kinds of cool stuff for you guys to buy. So check that as well. Men wear jewelry too. It's all at the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right. I'll get to some of the comments here, Timmy.
Yes, as I'm producing on these here.
This up as well. Jim says it's unfortunate while you are making the great case for Rays to be sold, at the same time WDAE and TBT saying the market is the issue. So sad fans don't hear the truth from local media. The market is not the issue.
No, never was.
I'm so tired of these arguments that hold no water. The market is not the issue. Stu, is the ownership. I mean, Namoli was terrible. The idea of having a stadium in St. Petersburg, we can, it sounds old and tired, but it's the most important thing. Location.
Yep.
We stopped talking about it because we talked about it so much. Because here's another one. B says, so no chance the Rays owner takes the ready-made St. Pete deal. I guess there's a chance, B, but everybody knows. Major League Baseball knows more than anybody. It's not the place for the stadium. And that's why I said, Stu was never going to build that stadium. If it wasn't the hurricane it was going to be something else where he tried to get out of building the stadium. That's why they did the deals separately, the redevelopment deal and the stadium deal in terms of the financing. So I don't believe he was ever going to build there. So all this other stuff is a bunch of BS. He was always just going to try to get the redevelopment rights and then move the team, sell the team, and go somewhere else. And that's also Tampa. That's where Major League Baseball wants it. So, and I think one of the reasons the new owner wouldn't build there is because you're going to lose money. It's the same location, same issues that you've always had. You can't get in, can't get out. There's only one highway. It's terrible. At least in downtown Tampa, there's a lot of different highways that feed into downtown Tampa. You know, we've seen that it handles the traffic for the Lightning games, which is 20,000 people. So we know it's not terrible. We do it all the time. There's always going to be traffic, folks. We live in Florida now. So, but it's, you know, people get in and out of Lightning games. It's not a problem. So, that's the problem. No, St. Pete is not the place for a baseball stadium for midweek games. It just doesn't work. What else we got here? B says, St. Pete City Council member Copley Gertis said the deal could transfer to new owner. I think he let it slip. Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem at all. But again, it's financially it's a good deal for whoever would take it up front. Up front, it's a good deal. Right. But over time, you're still going to have an empty stadium. So you want to be, and you're not going to sell premium seating because all of the businesses are headquartered, or most of them are headquartered on the Tampa side, and they can't give away their box tickets during the week. They used to do that when the Rays were first here, and then they found out that nobody's. So it's a waste of money. And of course, the ownership was starting to deal with. The Trop those luxury boxes at the Trop are awful. It's just not worth the money. So you build it in Tampa, it's worth the money. And so over 30 years, you're going to make more money, and you're going to have more fans, more revenue, and you're tapping into Orlando and all the development that's going on east of Tampa. Because got news for you, there's no development west of St. Petersburg. It's called the Gulf of America now.
It is. It's got a new name.
It's got a new name. So the Gulf of America, going to build on top of the Gulf of America. There's no more room to build in St. Pete. So
unless you live in Dubai, you can't build on top of water. That seems to be what they do over there. They just build stuff on top of their water.
Rick with the comment of the day. Todd Bowles says he wasn't going to watch the hockey game tonight. He's going to bed.
I mean, that seems about right. I thought this was Rick's comment of the day. I'm surprised Tim didn't ask Bradley about one of his pets dying. Are you sure you're Canadian? Maybe he showed his true colors. Now, look, it's 40 years after the self-goal, okay? Brian's over it now.
Of all the things you could have asked him. Of all the things you could have asked him. Hey, remember the own goal when you're playing for Team Canada?
Look, he laughed about it, all right? I know it's something he's talked about in the past, all right? He's fine with it. It's not like it was yesterday. It was, and if you've seen the video, it's actually really funny. It's kind of funny because, again, he was disoriented by the huge ice sheet he was on. And it's just a funny moment in his career. If I'd have known about one of Brian Bradley's pets died, I probably would have asked him about it too. All right? So there you go.
We are never going to let you live this one down.
I love it. I welcome it, man. You know me. I always ask the hard questions. I don't pull punches. Even with Brian Engblom, one of my heroes.
Thanks for coming on and taking the time. By the way, remember when you had an own goal?
He loved it. He loved the question.
What is wrong with you?
I'm still invited to dinner. I'm going to text him after the show. Hey, can I still come over?
Mike H says, back in the 2007 World Series, you could literally walk up to the Trop at game time and scalp a ticket behind home plate for $75. It was 2008, Mike, and I remember tickets were tough. That was a tough ticket. I think I paid like $200 a ticket for me and my kids to go to the World Series in 08, and we sat in the upper deck, which, by the way, is not a bad seat from a viewpoint of Tropicana Field. It's Still a crappy stadium. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. James says, I'm sure MLB hoping Rays do not make playoffs so they don't have to deal with the stadium issue.
Yeah.
We just solved that for you, bro. We solved that for you.
Yeah.
And somebody else said, it's a minor league stadium. I got news for you. Legends Field, now called Steinbrenner Field, is anything but a minor league stadium. I want people to stop calling it a minor league. It is the Yankees' spring home is what it is.
Right.
It has a clubhouse that is just rebuilt and is 10 times better than the Tropicana Field clubhouse. The players are going to go bananas over their new clubhouse. The accoutrement, the batting cages underneath Tropicana Field are trash. The whole thing is trash, folks. This is all new stuff, pristine stuff. They have meeting rooms, glorious facilities at this field that blow away Tropicana Field. So, and they only have 12,000 seats, but they're charging double and in some cases triple they charged at Tropicana Field. So if you did 16,000 at say $50, let's say an average price of 16,000 people, an average price of $100 a ticket, and you have 12,000 people at an average price of $150 to $200 a ticket. I know I'm a Florida State guy, but even I can do the math on that. It's more money. It's more money. It's not less money. So every time you see it printed in the Times or it comes out of Stu's mouth or Matt or Brian that they're losing money in terms of ticket sales over there, that's a lie. It's a very provable lie. So, and they're probably making even more on the luxury suites than they were at Tropicana Field because they're more in demand. And they're actually luxury suites. So if that's the excuse for having a low payroll, which of course it can't be because they've had low payrolls while they're in Tropicana Field. So that's not.
Yep.
What else we got here, partner? Yeah, James said, if the Rays made the World Series, can you imagine the national media looking down on the fact that the Rays are playing an A-ball minor league ballpark? It's not. It's not an. I've been to many A-league minor league ballparks, and that ain't it. That ain't it.
Yeah.
That is a legitimate major league stadium, except for the capacity. That's it.
Right. Amenities wise, for sure. There's no question.
Absolutely. 100%. So they used to have Rays watch parties at Tradewinds Island Resort. They were fun. Yeah, remember that? Those were awesome. Out there on the beach, they put a big screen up on the beach and you watch the games. They do that with Lightning games too. Michael LaRue said Vancouver won't let Quinn Hughes play for the USA tonight. This is interesting. It is very interesting because it is Vancouver, which is located where?
Canada.
Yeah. And Quinn Hughes said he could play earlier in the week. Now he can't. Interesting. Interesting. You think there's a little gamesmanship going on there with the Vancouver ownership, general manager?
Yeah, that's BS.
We don't know. We don't know how hurt he is. All we know is Mike Sullivan said on Tuesday, the USA coach, Quinn Hughes is coming. And then suddenly he's not. Not a small factor. Charlie McAvoy is out, who played a big role in the first game. And so Quinn Hughes would slot in as, the last year's Norris Trophy winner, hell of a player. Tuesday he could play. Now he can't.
And if it's a matter of how injured is he, then I get it. If they don't want him to play injured, I completely understand that. If they're just telling him not to play because they don't want him to get hurt, then that's BS.
Or telling him not to play. So, because think about this, I don't know who the Canucks general manager is. Look that up real quick. I don't know who it is, but he's probably Canadian. He probably played for Team Canada.
Yeah, it's Patrick Alvin. Yeah, he's Canadian.
Yeah. So a little controversy. Little controversy. I don't know. I don't want to cast any aspersions on anyone here, but that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's what we do on this show.
Of course. So I think there's something there. So that's food for thought.
By the way, Patrick Alvin is Swedish, by the way.
He's Swedish. Okay.
He's Swedish.
But he lives in Canada.
He lives in Canada, yeah.
Daniel Rivera says MLB certainly doesn't want to wait 4 years. You better believe behind the scenes they are working with the elite groups in Tampa talking about that want this team sooner than later. Yeah, they want to buy it for a reasonable price. Stu doesn't want to sell it for a reasonable price. He wants to keep holding people hostage because that's what he does. That's his life's work. So like I said, MLB has to intervene here, and they've done that before. So, and it's not like Stu's not walking away with a tremendous profit if he did sell the team for $2 billion.
You just have to wonder what's taking them so long. What's taking MLB so long? If they're going to do it, why are they waiting?
Well, I think it's it's the same reason it's taking this long. Stu doesn't, he's going to go kicking and screaming about everything and try to suck the last dime out of every transaction. And does Major League Baseball have a legal, the legal power to make him sell contractually if they went to court?
I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know their bylaws that well, to be quite honest. Like I said, Marge Schott got forced out. I'm trying to remember any other owners that got – I think there were a couple that kind of got – Namoli got forced out.
Yeah.
I mean, Namoli got forced out. Simple as that. I mean, there's precedent in this market. So, yeah, it can be done, but it's dirty business, and baseball is no stranger to dirty business. Don't get me wrong. But again, it's probably hard. They don't want it public. There's got to be some willingness on Stu's part to just kind of go away. And he's not that kind of guy. And can you imagine, like, the owners have said this many times. We need to get the stadium situation in Oakland and Tampa Bay figured out and done before we expand, right? So now the owners all know that this is not St. Pete, Hillsborough's fault. It's Stu's fault. He's been the impediment. Now they know it unequivocally. That's clear. If you're not taking this deal, then there's no deal that you'll ever, right? If you're not going to do that. So now they know that. Imagine them hearing, oh, we've got 4 or 5 years to figure this out. Imagine the other owners hearing this. Go, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
What? No, you don't. We're tired of waiting to expand. I want my expansion fee that's going to come to every one of these owners, which it would probably going to be at least $200 million each for 2 expansion teams. Yeah, that's nice. Nice little profit. So, but we're going to have to wait on Stu. We're going to have to wait on what's going. Even though they had a wonderful opportunity here to take the deal, still not doing it. All right, what else we got? Anything else?
James wants to know when Rick's due at the Improv. Y'all have an Improv in Tampa or St. Pete?
Yeah, we do. Here's an interesting question. He will not play either national anthem. Instead, they will play Lift Every Voice.
Oh, Lord. That sounds like something ESPN would do.
Well, they didn't, they're known for covering up national anthems. We know this. You better not do it tonight.
There's a history.
You better not do it tonight, ESPN.
Or what if they just don't show it on TV? Right? They just won't show it on TV.
Don't boo, Boston. Do not do that.
Nobody boo anybody's national anthem. That's just in poor taste. Come on.
Yeah. Hockey would grow if it was a little bit more accessible on TV, says Yeezy. I lose my mind half the time trying to find the Lightning game. It has cable anymore. Spot on, dude. The Panthers, I believe, put their games this year on a local TV station, a local independent station. The Lightning are talking about putting their preseason games on WMOR TV next year. And I would like to see them put all their games on MOR TV, obviously.
So here in Dallas, we got rid of course, Fox. Well, it was Bally Sports Southwest is what we had here, and that's what all the teams were on, right? The Mavericks, the Stars, the Rangers. Right. So that went away, and then nobody could watch anything. So the Stars came up with the brilliant idea: we're just going to develop an app. You download the app on your TV, on your phone, whatever. It's free, and you can watch any Stars game now on the app for free. Well, now the Rangers, because they ran into the same thing, they're going to what's called the Victory app. The Stars color is Victory green, so everything is Victory branded with the Stars. So it's the Victory app. The Rangers are going to be on it. However, the Rangers are not going on for free. They're charging you $100 for the season package to watch the Rangers, all 162 Rangers games, which to me seems like a deal if you really want to watch the Rangers. I mean, I'll pay you $100 for the entire season to watch every Rangers game. Because I've already got the Victory app on my TV and on my phone and my laptop and everywhere.
That's $15 a month, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pay that to watch the Rangers. I mean, I'm a super Rangers fan, obviously. So the Stars are still free. So I mean, that's how that's
interesting. So is that just starting this year?
No, it's for the Rangers. It's starting this year. The Stars did the Victory app last season for the first time.
And how did it work out?
Great.
People loved it. It was good quality, good everything.
Everything. It's nothing's different. It's the same broadcasters. It's the same coverage as you had on Bally's or whatever. It's just you have to download the app, and it's free. They sell commercials for just like they do on TV. They sell commercials in the app for the games, and it's the viewing experience is actually probably better because they have like in-game things where you can do stats, kind of like Amazon Prime does with their NFL package, right? You can go on and hit a button to see certain stats and next gen crap. They do the same thing with the Stars games on the app where you can go in and look at in-game stats. You can do this little display at the bottom where who's on the ice, what's their ice time, what's their stats, and then as line changes, it converts. It's really cool. It's very interactive, and it's really cool. I love it.
Well, the Rays announced yesterday, or FanDuel, where you watch the Lightning and the Rays, announced that they're going to be available on Prime, but it's going to cost you $20 a month. Well, which I was like, okay, great. Well, you can already download the FanDuel app for $20 a month, just regularly, and now now you can access it on Prime. I'm kind of like, what's the difference? You're still paying $20, so it's an add-on.
Right.
So on Prime, I don't understand what the difference is. If you're still charging $20, if it's on Prime, but you can download the FanDuel app anyway from the App Store. So now you can download it with Prime. Like, I don't understand the difference, what the advantage is. Somebody smarter than me is going to need to explain apps, but it's still $20 a month. So it's interesting, the Victory app that they're doing. So now I think the Panthers did a local station, and they also have an app as well. They're on the FanDuel, I think, still as well.
Right.
So I would definitely like to see the Lightning put their games over the air, because if you do a local station like MOR, they're what they call a must carry. You're paying for that anyway. If you have YouTube TV, if you have Direct TV, what are some FUBU? If you have any of these and you have the Tampa Bay market, you get the local stations. They're a must carry. So that means they would be on every whatever. If you cut the cord and you were streaming, you're on every one of those. And you could also get it if you had rabbit ears, the HD rabbit ears, you could get it for free that way. And it comes on every local station. So that would be a great way. And then people never have to search for their games anymore. They're always in the same spot, which I think would definitely be, because Lightning and the Rays are both losing a lot of viewership because a lot of people can't get the games anymore. That's bad. That's really
Wouldn't it be amazing if we had one place to go for all of the streaming services that were combined into one little situation, and then you never had to, oh wait, we had that. It was called cable.
Yeah. But we're also paying for 200 stations we never watch. I mean, if you're
there, man.
I know it was great, but it was also really expensive, and a waste. And now, of course, everybody jacked up their fees as well. And what happened with these regional sports network is they were all bidding. The bidding rights got ridiculous. The rights to these teams, their bidding was so crazy, and they'd win the bid, but then they're like, oh shiz, now we got to go sell enough commercials, and they couldn't make enough money, so they were paying too much for the rights, and that's what happened. And everybody started cutting the cord, and now we get what we get. Now we can't watch this goddamn game. It's terrible.
Mike H says, have you ever been to the Blue Jay spring training stadium in, what is it, Dunedin? I don't know how to say that word. Dunedin. He went there last year. It was nice. Yeah, but that stadium's tiny. That only seats like 8,000 people, I think.
Yeah, it's way too small. It's a great venue, though. Great venue, but hard to get in and out of.
Great setting. But that's kind of way over on the other side of the bay, isn't it? Like over
again, yeah, very hard to access. Very hard to access.
He also says, Tim, have you been in the suites right behind home plate at Ranger Stadium? So I've never watched a game from the suites. I've been in all of the suites up there, but I usually sit in the press box, which is elevated up above the suite level, right behind home plate. So I mean, I've been to just about every place in that stadium. It's a great stadium. I just hate the roof. I mean, I love the air conditioning. I hate the roof. That's all. It's just a weird vibe.
Yeah, I don't like inside baseball.
I mean, I'll do it. B says Dunedin is basically in the Gulf.
It is. It is. But it's a great little city. Great, beautiful little historic city. Their downtown is really, really cool. Big St. Patrick's Day deal there, too. Nathan says, I need to get on the Buccaneer fan cruise. Well, get me a ticket. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could not pay me enough money to go on a cruise. I'm out.
Cruises are great. Cruises are great.
Have you ever seen Titanic? I know it.
I say cruises are great. I went on one last year where he sailed into an effing hurricane, literally.
Gross. I'm out.
So they have to refund everybody's money. Awful. Way to go, MSC. Hate you. All right, college football stuff we've been promising. Did we find out anything new yesterday?
So the only real thing that came out of the meeting between the SEC and the Big Ten yesterday, and I'm sure there were multiple points of conversation here, but according to Ross Dellinger, who, of course, used to write for SI, now he's with Yahoo Sports, a senior college football writer for Yahoo Sports. He says the only thing that really came out of it was the two teams or the two leagues wanting to change the seedings. Which we talked about yesterday. We don't like the first round bye for any team, but of course, those conferences that get those group of five conferences are the lower conferences are the ones that benefit the most out of that, because if you make it into the second round, or if you have the bye to get in this, it's an automatic $8 million to your school for being in that second round, the quarterfinals. So they're not going to want to do that. I hated the first round bye for some of these schools. I hated more that they didn't reseed after each round. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see them reseed. However they manage the first round buys, or if you get rid of it, I still want to see you reseed, as I think you should do in every sport, in every postseason. Reseed in between the rounds so that you've always got the best team playing the worst team available, and because that's why you're rewarded with the number one seed. You should play the worst team, not just in the first round. It should go through the playoffs.
Oh, I agree. 100%. 100%. I mean, they effed it up. We've been waiting for a larger playoff my entire life, and they screwed it up. And I think it just took away from the whole playoff, to be honest. When it was first, didn't get the matchups that we'd hoped to get, you know? It just didn't work out the way it was supposed to. So, whatever. Hopefully they're going to fix that, and that's fine. And do it for this year. Let's not we don't need 3 years to think about this. It was bad. Let's fix it. Fix it year one.
And by the way, this is the last year of the ESPN TV deal
for the college football playoff.
Yeah,
yeah, but they own the next one.
Oh, do they already?
They own the new one. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And Fox didn't get any of the games. I'm not exactly sure how that whole thing went down, but the fact that ESPN still owns it, the whole thing,
sure it was crooked.
Bugs me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. It bugs me one way or the other.
John Hill wants us to play the Herb Brooks iconic speech from Miracle. Will we get dinged for copyright on that if we do that?
Oh, I don't know. I probably don't have time to. I can find it for tomorrow's show though, if you want. I don't know if it'll matter tomorrow, depending on what happens tonight.
Do it's any good tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll find it on YouTube and retweet it. How's that?
Yeah, we can do that
together. Yeah, that'll be safe. All right, guys. I think that'll do it for us here today. Yeah. We will be back tomorrow to recap all the shenanigans from tonight, or at least Timmy will. I'm TBA tomorrow, partner. I'm TBA.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
We'll figure it out.
It's Ashley's big birthday, so we gotta make sure she's taken care of first. That's the most important thing. So I will be in Atlanta.
Keep Mama happy.
I will join you for some portion of the show tomorrow. I could definitely make that because we gotta compare notes on what happens tonight. So
yep.
Enjoy the game, everybody. We will. If you missed anything, great interviews with Brian Engblom and Brian Bradley. Brian and I have a nice bet on it, and I think he wants to fight me on some game. So when we show up at Amalie Arena, so we'll see how that goes down as well. Have a great night tonight. Enjoy the game. Go USA. Who you rooting for,
Canada, our home and native land. All right, we'll see you.
Have a great day, everybody.